Looks like Meghan Markle is shopping around a book after all. Oh yes, remember when Vanity Fair pointed that out at the very start of this year when they decided that the great American hustle of Meghan and Harry wasn't working out too well? Well, seemingly things are still on the boil. But is it all what it seems? Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. You all right? Yes, I'm still in the rain. Glad you're asking, but it's nice to get out, trust me. The beautiful greenery, isn't it nice around this area though? I have found this sort of corner, I'm glad you like it. And I just like the smell of the trees and the bark and everything like that. And what's interesting with all of this rain that we've had in the last sort of few hours now, all the daffodils that were dying off have come back to life. I know, maybe I should stand out and see if I can come back to life. Do you get like that sometimes though, You do feel a little bit better out in the air, don't you? But you know what I'm saying? It's a strange thing, this is the problem. But, the weather, we are literally ruled by it over here because, of course, we've got the start of spring. And yesterday, as you saw in some of the videos, some beautiful weather, and you think, wow, maybe. And then they wake up and this is what it's been like all day. Not a great day. Do you know what I mean? But we should be grateful. And by the way, can we send our God blesses and good wishes, of course, to sadly the loss of Pope Francis. Well, a good life, 88 years old, and of course, lucky in many respects that I think King Charles was very lucky to finally meet the Pope. Let's hope that passed on some good stuff also, you know what I mean? But of course, it's always sad, isn't it? But 88 years old for Pope Francis, God bless. Now let's get back to your royal story of the day. Do you remember this in January? And I just thought this was fascinating, in fact, and they've never taken legal action on this. Let me point this out, chums. Meghan Markle was allegedly shopping around, get this, a book, a divorce book. And apparently this was going to be the thing. And of course, what they do, Meghan and Harry, their people basically say, oh, we don't bother with this, it's just rumour and all that. But they were very, very clear in this article that staff knew about this. And it's an odd thing in a way, isn't it? Because of course, Meghan Markle, when you look at it in another aspect, is the bottom line for her really. The last time that she had a crack at a book was The Bench. And this, as I said to you before, was an aforementioned deal with Penguin Random House. And Penguin Random House basically were doing this because they wanted Prince Harry's book Spare, the 4-book deal that we've never seen anything of, you understand. But Meghan still pushed ahead and decided that she was a literary genius, of course, because the book at points did sell. But of course, this was more curiosity. And if you look at the sales and you look at exactly where it was, given the exposure that book got, you would have imagined it should have been #1 for weeks and weeks, but nobody knew what it was. But Meghan is in fact looking at a book. Oh yes, but perhaps not the sort of book that you or I might think could be another seller. You see, as she now goes down yet another path, she is shopping around this new idea for a book. Think of it as something like The Apprentice stroke Dragon's Den stroke How to Start a Business. That is the working title. And this is all going behind the scenes about how she's had the problems and struggles and all of that sort of stuff, trying to get the likes of American Riviera Orchard, as ever, with love, Meghan. Now, I don't understand a book like this from somebody like her, and this is the idea. And naturally it will be ghostwritten by somebody, but this is what they're shopping around. The problem that you have is the money required is going to be a huge amount of money. But who is really going to buy into a book, and as ever we have to say allegedly, from a woman who comes from a very wealthy, attachment, not background, but an attachment. And the idea is that Meghan details the problems, the problems with getting the name and the branding and the product and everything like that out. But it's not like starting your own business from scratch, is it? But apparently Meghan believes that her following, her people, maybe 2 million plus on Instagram, would be interested enough in her struggles and her strife on how she finally made it. Now, I don't know about you, but it's a little premature, and this is apparently going to be slated for the autumn season. That's when the books normally come out, just in time for Christmas. But either way, it doesn't look like it's panelling out the way that Meghan had hoped. As the team shop the idea around, apparently there's less than enthusiastic sort of response to the idea so far. The one that they truly do like was the one they aforementioned at the start of the video, that was mentioned by Vanity Fair at the start of the year. The divorce book. They believe that's going to be a bestseller. but Meghan giving advice on how to run a business and how to navigate the very difficult world of business. Well, I throw it back. Would you buy it? Neil Sean, Kensington, London.